Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, in case you wondered when the Ukraine war will end, we got Alexander Lukashenko, the president of Belarus, who apparently knows. So let's see. This article comes from Ukrainska Pravda from today, September 1st, 2022. Lukashenko says war in Ukraine will be over soon. All right, let's see. Maybe it's going to give us more details. During an open history lesson for school children and university students in Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, the country's self-proclaimed president, said that the war in Ukraine will be over in the near future, and he was convinced that Russia would not lose it. The source is Vedomosti, a Russian language business daily newspaper published in Moscow, quoting TASS, a Russian state-owned news agency, Belta, Belarusian state-owned news agency. These things are supposed to make us, not believe them, since they're state-owned. But PBS, it's fine, you can watch that. Or NPR, you can watch that. Or BBC, you can watch that. And BBC, find out, is not really independent, private. So, quote from Lukashenko, but this is what this gentleman says. There is a conflict brewing between the president and the military of Ukraine. Only the military can put their foot down and say, no, let's reach an agreement. Because otherwise Ukraine will be erased off the face of the earth. Details. Lukashenko was trying to convince Belarusian students that Ukraine was being divided. He stressed in particular that Poland was interested in claiming Ukraine's western regions. Lukashenko, therefore, believes that the war will be over in the near future. So this is possibly his reasoning. Now, regarding the infight, the division between army and the leadership, which would be the handlers, which Zelensky, Shmihal, and all those, I'm inclined to think there is some tension. That's one thing. And why did I say that? Is because of that article where you had that, actually I think is the main general in Ukraine, I can't remember his name. I made a video on this guy about a week and a half ago, or two maybe, where this guy talked about, how do you call it, not being able to talk because that's PR in the office of the presidency who actually plays all the cards, and you can't be more popular if you say something than certain people, which is, he was implying Zelensky. And this general said, well, all I do is defend my country. I don't need to talk if I don't have to talk. But you asked me a question and I answered it. So those guys over there did not like that. It seems like this general is very popular among Ukrainian nation. Whereas the other guys there, they figured it out. I mean, the Ukrainians, I'm pretty sure they figured it out, who's who, what's what. But what can they do? I think they figured out, yes, this guy supposedly, yes, the Americans help us and these guys are in charge of us and all that. But, maybe for a while the interest will coincide and they would go, in the same direction. But at one point, I'm pretty sure they're going to go like this. So, quote from Lukashenko, yeah, there's a conflict brewing, I think so. Now, moreover, he, Lukashenko, hopes that it is the Ukrainian military and not the country's president who will determine the course of Ukraine's actions. I think so too, and I tell you why. According to him, the military are better poised to see the hopelessness of Ukraine's position. So, hopelessness of Ukraine's position. Well, you can, but then you have those guys across the Atlantic. What are you going to do with them? You have to really make a decision and why everything is going to stay on, will be decided by the Ukrainian military? Very simple answer. They got the guns and the other ones don't. So a gun versus no gun, you have much more chances to win that encounter. So let's see what's next here. And this guy, what he thinks that is going to be. He says that according to him, the military are better poised to see the hopelessness of Ukrainian position. As I said, yes, I think they are. Because they are in the field, on the territory, and they kind of know where is who's where and what's what. Quote from Lukashenko: Russia cannot suffer a defeat there. I personally and many other Belarusians support Russia in this regard. Well, I don't know if he said cannot, like should not, like cannot because it shouldn't, because otherwise he's gonna be next and it's not a good thing, or cannot like is not able to do it because of the military might it might possess. Comment from the office of President of Ukraine. Mikhailo Podolyak, who is below 86 IQ. I'm not saying Lukashenko has more, but this guy is definitely below 86. Advisor, and that's based on his statements and assessments from previous articles that I covered with this guy. Advisor to the office of the President of Ukraine told Ukrinform, Ukrainian state-run news agency. Okay, I'm using that. I'm using New Voice of Ukraine and Ukrainska Pravda, all three Ukrainian outlets, so I can see what they say, so you can feel the pulse, if you want to call it that way. He said that Lukashenko's allegations that there is a conflict between President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, and the military, a conflict which he allegedly been eroding our society for months, is a groundless fake. Lukashenko, I'm quoting, Lukashenko has relied with great knowledge and in great detail the media narrative about the alleged powerful conflict between the military and the political leadership in Ukraine. According to the narrative, this conflict will allegedly result in some of the coup in the near future, because the military are tired of the war and no longer want to put up with President Zelensky's radicalism. Podolyak commented. The Ukrainian official believes that Lukashenko's words make the source of this information and psychological operation obvious. Well, with significant military problems becoming more obvious, the Russian special forces will intensify their efforts to destabilize the social and political situation inside blah, 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 blah. Okay, is that what you say? Now, Lukashenko, I don't think in this regard is very much off target. I think actually he is close, because it's true that the military could, and I think will push the guys to the side, and they will start discussing with their bosses, if that didn't happen yet. Because let's put it this way, if they kick Zelensky out and Shmihal and send them to New York or to Tel Aviv or Jerusalem is the same thing for these guys. So if they send them over there, then they will have to deal with Americans. And what will the Americans do? Do you think the Americans will invade Ukraine? They will probably threaten them and all that, and all of a sudden we're going to find out that actually the Ukrainian military is a Nazi military, and it's a lot of abuse and a lot of discrimination, a lot of this, a lot of that, and war crimes committed by the military personnel, Ukrainian military personnel. You're going to find that. You're going to find that all of a sudden the Ukrainian military is more guilty of war crimes than the Russian military. Why? Because they say, you know what, we resiliate the contract. We don't want to be in the same contract anymore with you like those two weasels were. But we'll find out. I think that would be a quick fix, if you want, of a war, even though I don't know if the Ukrainian army could stay united if this happens, and you would have people that would be paid by the other guy, bribed by the other guys to create a little civil war on top of the Russians coming over. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and pretty soon it's going to end the war.